A good salesman must know his product and that of his competitors. He must know the whole field. That's more than ever true for the man who must supervise a sales force or work with distributors. It's not hard to see how valuable an engineering background can be in sales work. This is a side of engineering that has never occurred to Don before. For instance, how can an engineer help sell rock crushers in a highly competitive situation? What about the product, crushed rock? Can you improve it? Research shows that an angular form in the crushed rock, aggregate it's called, is better than a flat or sliver form. The angular aggregate is less likely to slide around under the loads placed on it. What do you do to get a higher percentage of the angular type from your crushing machines? The impact crusher is developed. You study it in slow motion pictures, some 300 times slower than normal. The hammers break rock and throw rocks together hard enough to break them. The product has a high percentage of the desired angular form, and your sales effort gets a shot in the arm. But manufacturers in a competitive field can't stand still. What are the problems of the contractor, the man who is your customer? Hauling costs him a lot of money when a big job is a long way from the plant. So the management sales force calls for a portable rock crusher that can be moved close to the job. A management decision based on engineering estimates. Work, imagination, and engineering knowledge pay off in profits, as the sales engineer points out the improvement to the cost-conscious businessmen who buy the machinery. Don has a lot of imagination. He prides himself on that. And in engineering, there are jobs that will keep him right on his toes. He would like that. In other words, there is a career in engineering that would fit Don. While Don is the extroverted type of individual, Paul, in the same class, is known as the strong, silent type. He's a big guy, an athlete, and goes along without attracting much attention until somebody wants to get something done. Then they call on Paul. Paul knows his uncle as a chemical engineer who got into research. And when Paul imagines himself as an engineer, he sees himself in a smelly place full of glassware. He'd feel out of place in this, although his uncle finds it fascinating. But there is a part of engineering that is just as good a fit for Paul as other parts were for Don and Bob. Production engineer, the man between the materials yard and the delivery yard. He's got to know how to keep quality up and costs down. One job for a production engineer might be to design huge fixtures that will hold tons of steel in place while it is welded. Or it might just as readily be providing an environment where flight simulators can be assembled. Work where the ordinary dust in the air is a hazard. If the production man is turning out thousands of identical units, he has the problem of making the flow of materials match manufacturing capacity. The flow of sub-assemblies match the assembly line. The flow of the assembly line match demands of the sales force. When items must be custom made, when everyone is different, it's the production engineer who plans the assembly system that will tell each worker what to do on each separate order, so that the instruction sheets may be written out. The necessary parts gathered from the stockroom and put together, properly set and regulated to each requirement. But the production engineer works not only with materials and machines, he works with men. Did you know that newly made cellophane is porous and must be moisture-proof before it is sold? It takes a machine 3 stories high to coat it, dry it, and wind it into rolls again. These men must splice a new roll of cellophane under the old one while the machine is running. First, he makes a crayon mark on the underside of the material, near the beginning of the new roll. From this mark, he cuts the cellophane away to leave a long tongue held by a piece of tape. He will glue this tongue to the end of the old roll. This sounds easy, until you know that the new roll weighs nearly half a ton. The cellophane is traveling through the machine at about 11 feet per second. And, if they goof, the machine must be re-threaded, and the eye of the needle is 3 stories up. How about it, Mr. Production Engineer? Do your men have the temperament, coordination, decisiveness, teamwork, training and experience to do the job? In production, the respect Paul wins so readily can really pay off. Our fourth candidate, well, let's call him X. His qualifications aren't going to be as easy to pinpoint as those of Bob, or Don, or Paul. He may have the aptitudes and abilities for some field of engineering, and yet seem a little lazy because he hasn't found anything to interest him. The simple situations outlined for Bob, Don, and Paul probably won't help X very much. His problem is a little more complex, so he will have to find more information, probably on his own. There are three things X can do to get a better idea of what engineering can offer him and what he can offer engineering. He can take additional tests to better understand some of his qualifications. In addition, he can visit teachers at any engineering college who will be happy to talk with him about his future. And third, he can obtain from them the names of engineers near his home, engineers who are ready to show him what the engineer does and what it takes to be one. Who is X? Well, he's a person who may find engineering a challenging and profitable life's work when he discovers the many job types in this very broad field, and when he realizes that he will have to make an investment in good, hard work. He is a person who has the intelligence and initiative to find out more about what engineering can offer him. Who is X? Maybe he's you.